Hello, welcome. We are back at it again with the bucket list calendar. There are lots of fun things on here, a lot more this month that I can do than last month, but I won't be filming all of it. I decided to only film it if it'll be like interesting to watch. So I have already done one. This one says put on your favorite pair of sandals. I decided that wasn't enough of a thing. So I painted my toenails and then put on my sandals. It was cute. Did not film that because that's weird. I have a weird thing about feet. I don't like feet. I don't like people to look at my feet. Didn't do that. But today, I'm all dressed up, all cute and fancy because it is General Conference weekend. And one of the bucket list items is to learn a new recipe for spring. So I found this recipe for some poppy seed lemon muffins, and we're gonna make that together today. Welcome to my kitchen. I have all of my ingredients laid out here. I'm so professional. I've got my tin, and then I have these cute little silicone liners that we got for our wedding. I'm gonna line with that, but that's pretty springy, huh? The blue, the pink. All right, we got my bowl. I'm gonna mix the dry ingredients. 1.5 cups flour. I took a cooking class, I think in 8th grade. I never use any of the things I learned in that class. I actually technically failed that class because I moved halfway through the semester. So then I guess it would have been 9th grade that I took the class because I moved in 9th grade. But in Utah, that's still middle school. So I get confused. All right, we've got about 1 cup and a half. Perfect. I'm already making a mess. We need 1/2 cup of sugar. And then I'm supposed to add the poppy seeds in now, but my sister who's coming does not like poppy seeds. So I'm going to add that later after I filled a couple tins without the poppy seeds. And then baking powder. All right, 1/2 teaspoon. Cool. Into the bowl we go. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, that's all dry ingredients. Let's whisk that together. Now in another bowl, I need to combine all of my wet ingredients. Alright, I got my melted butter. Let's pour that in. When my sisters and I were kids, we always said we were gonna own a bakery together. We probably just thought we got to eat all the cakes and cupcakes and everything. 2 eggs. But now, my one sister was a baker at Neater's. So she kind of got to live out that dream. And then my other sister bakes just all the time. She's constantly baking for people in the ward or whatnot. And like super experimental too. She made these lavender cupcakes, but they were really good. They were a little weird because I've never eaten lavender just straight before, but they were good. 1 cup of milk. So I probably bake the least amount of all my siblings. That was weird. I never use the word siblings because I only have sisters. But mainly because I'm way too hard on myself, so if something doesn't work out, I get upset. But I enjoy the act of baking. I think it's really fun. All right, now we're to the lemon juice, which I got some fresh lemons. That felt like the right move. And it says 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but I don't really know how to measure that out if I'm just like squeezing the lemon, right? I heard that if you mush it around like this and between your palms that it gives you more juice. I don't know if that's true, but that's what we're doing today. I'll try to squeeze it into my... There we go, that's working. I love the smell of lemon. I got a seed in there and I don't know how to get it out. I guess we'll just pour and hope it sticks to the bottom. Got the seed out. Cool. So one side is about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Very good to know. So I got 2 lemons just in case. I don't think we'll need to use the other lemon. So I can have lemon water. Alright, we're gonna attempt to get some zest out with my little... I don't even know what to call this. My little thing. If it doesn't work, we're just gonna have to forego the zest, and it won't be very lemony. It's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. The inside is just for the juice. the zest comes from the lemon or the peel. Like I did learn something in my class after all. Okay, is this even working? No, this is not zesting it. This is peeling it. All right, well, I'm gonna give up. All right, we're gonna cut up this second lemon and add the juice from this too, and hope that it tastes like lemon. Oh my gosh, I was about to say that this lemon is a lot firmer, but I didn't roll it around my hands first. Maybe that did make a difference. I dropped a seed. Oh no, I dropped another one. I'm gonna have to go fishing. Get it out. Alright, let's see next. I think we combine them together now. Put the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and stir until combined. Oh, I haven't I haven't stirred together my wet ingredients. You do that first. Then we can combine with the dry ingredients. Ooh, this smells really good and lemony. Hope it tastes just as lemony. Can't remember the last time I made something from scratch instead of like from a box. My mom always scared it into me that like things made from scratch are like 12 times more difficult. And so I've always been scared to make things from scratch. Oh, I guess I make cookies from scratch. I don't usually use a box for cookies. Sugar cookies, that is. Because then I make box mix cookies using a cake mix. Those are really good, but obviously they're not from scratch because I use a cake mix to make them. This is not combining very well. I think the butter hardened while it was in here. I feel like that's making it more difficult. I also have a little hand mixer, and I never know when to pull that out or when to just whisk by hand. I feel like I rarely use that. I can't forget to not put the poppy seeds in. Gotta remember. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, what's next? Oh, don't overmix. Alright, setting that down. Spoon the batter into the prepared muffin tin, filling each cup about 3/4 full. I was gonna spoon it in with a spoon because it said spoon in, but I feel like using maybe like a 4th cup is gonna be faster. Let's do that. She said she only wanted 1, so I made her 2. I'm not being mean by only making 2. Okay, I'm being nice by making 1 more than she said. Does poppy seed have a flavor? I feel like it must, right? I just can't think of like what a poppy seed would taste like, you know? And is this just the stuff you put in the ground to grow poppies? Or is this different? Is it just called poppy seed and it's actually something else? I have so many questions. And I'm probably not going to look up any of them. Okay, how many poppy seeds? 1 tablespoon. You know when you're walking alone at night and you psych yourself out that someone's following you? I feel like I just did the same thing with the poppy seeds. Like I was pouring them in and I'm like, they kind of look like tiny little spider eggs. Just terrible. Let's mix this all up and then we'll do a little taste test because I haven't tasted it yet. Maybe it's terrible. And I'm just gonna feed my guests some gross muffins. Oh yeah. It's looking good. That's looking like muffins. Oh, you definitely get lemon. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good little conference breakfast. Alright, I finished filling them up. I can't tilt it or else they're all gonna spill out. I'm gonna put this in the oven for 20 minutes. Alright, I'm just gonna be cleaning up until those are done. That's not very fun, so I will check back in with y'all when they are done. Alrighty, the muffins just came out of the oven. Well, not like just, but like 5 minutes ago. So cute and springy. And then I've got mine, the one that didn't have a paper on it. We're gonna do a little taste test. Let's see if all the lemon cooked away. My first thought was, ew, why does it taste like that? It just didn't really taste like anything. It tasted like flour and milk. But then the lemon kicked in. It did taste very lemony. And you got that crunch of the poppy seed. Pretty good. It's definitely like thicker than a box mix. That's for sure. It's denser. That's the word I wanted. Alright, at this point I'm just trying to come up with things to say. So, bucket list item number 1 complete. I was about to give you a look into what we'd be doing next, but I don't remember, so stick around. We'll be doing some fun things this month. I'm excited to share that with you. Hello, I am back. It's been over a week since I've done anything for the bucket list. I really need to get going on some of that stuff. We are halfway through the month, and I've done 2 things. 2! That's super cool. So I have scheduled, because I randomly pick days, and I just like schedule the activity for that day in the month, and that's how I just randomly pick what I'm gonna do each day. Which last week on like Wednesday, it was like, take a walk in the rain. Obviously, I couldn't do that if it didn't rain that day, and it didn't. So we're just waiting on that one. We're waiting on that one. And then I looked at the schedule for this week, and I have 2 things scheduled. On Wednesday, I'm supposed to light a candle. Easy peasy, I can do that. And on Friday, I'm supposed to make a fairy garden. That stressed me out. That's a big thing to do, which is great that it's paired with light a candle. And I was thinking, okay, we'll start my fairy garden on Friday, and then we'll just do it for however long it takes. The thing is, next week is basically all of the other bucket list items that I didn't do the whole month is next week. So I don't want to overwhelm myself, and so I'm like, I'll start now and try to finish by Friday. It's Tuesday, by the way. It says on the calendar, make a fairy garden. Cool. Problems. First problem being that I don't have a yard to make a fairy garden, and what I just thought of 2 minutes ago was I could totally go up to the woods up there behind my house and like place the fairy garden and have it be a cute little thing for the kiddos in my apartment complex to find. Didn't think about that. And the second problem I had was most videos of people making cute little fairy gardens go out and get like the extra stuff to make it all cute. You know, like they get the little mushrooms to place in the fairy garden, and they get the little fairy bridge, things like that from like the store, or they get clay and like make it themselves. And I'm like, oh, I really would love to make something with just the materials I have. Another thought I had a few minutes ago was, remember the third Tinkerbell movie? The best Tinkerbell movie? That little girl makes a fairy garden, a little fairy house. It's all cardboard and like wooden sticks. I could totally do that. If this little girl could do it, I could do it. I know that little girl's fictional. What is her name? It doesn't matter. Anyway, so with all of that being said, a week ago when I put this on my calendar, I guess 2 weeks ago at this point, when I put this on my calendar, my brain was thinking about all of these negatives, all these things, all these problems of reason why I couldn't make a fairy garden. And just today, I realized that I probably could. But the whole in-between part, I came up with another idea. So now I'm not sure which I'm going to do. I'm probably going to stick to my original idea because I've been thinking about that for a week and like planning it out in my head. Which is why we have our Nutri-Grain bar box. Let me just pour all those out because we don't need those. Oh, please don't fall. Cool. So I figured this is like the perfect size box for a little book nook fairy garden. Tell me I'm wrong. That's like the perfect size. Height-wise, it's going to be a little shorter than most of my books, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. And then I feel like inside, that's the perfect size. I could do something with that. That was my thought. I was going to make a bookshelf, a book nook, fairy garden thing. So I was looking at inspo today, and there are 2 different ones, 2 different ideas that I liked a lot. One of them is a fairy garden where I go outside and I get sticks and I get rocks and I basically shove them in my box and it looks like a little fairy garden. I can maybe make like a little cardboard hutch in the back, and I have string lights that I'm not using, so I can like line the inside with that. And I just think it would look really cute. A cute little fairy garden, which is, the fairy garden is the prompt on my calendar. Make a fairy garden. So this is a fairy garden for my books. Cool, cool. However, I also saw a bunch of inspiration for a book nook that like looked like a little bookstore with tiny little books in it and like bookshelves that I can make out of cardboard, and it just was really cute, and I feel like it'll look better because most of the people who make the fairy gardens use like the fake moss, and I don't have that, nor am I gonna get it. So what I was thinking is go outside, get some dirt, maybe like some wood chips, and line the bottom of my box with that instead of the mossy things that everyone is using. And I just don't know if that's gonna work. I also don't have hot glue. So I was just gonna balance the sticks in there at different angles to make it look like trees. I know. I'm failing at this whole challenge and I haven't even started. With the bookstore or the library or something in that realm, all of the walls, all of the flooring, I can make out of like colored paper. I can color on paper and make it look like a black and white tile on the floor, and I can make tiny little paintings and put that in there. And the bookshelves, well, we've got these little slabs that I'm going to cut off anyway, so I can make this be the structure of the bookshelf. And then making little books obviously is just a bunch of paper that I'll fold up and color the spines so they all look different. I don't know. That is more work for sure, making all of the little tiny pieces, but I think it'll look so much cuter than the fairy garden. But the fairy garden is the prompt. So I don't know. Is my answer. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I have one thing that I wanted to accomplish yesterday that I didn't, that I have to do today. Also, this week is a crazy week. My schedule, you know how on the calendar app on iPhones, it lets you put like 4 things in that little block, and then I'm not explaining this very well. Under a certain day, you can put 4 different activities, and then it'll just have a +2 at the bottom, or a +3, or plus whatever else you have on there. That's what most of my days look like. Multiple of my days this week have a plus. So it's gonna be a crazy week. And I don't know if I really have the time to do this, but I definitely don't have the time to do it next week. And I want to be done with my April bucket list by next week. By the end of next week, I want to be done with everything. We gotta figure out what we're doing. Also, I think this is the only box that would really work for this project. So I even thought about doing the fairy garden first, and if I hated it, then I'd move on to the bookshelf or the library or the bookstore. Do one of those if I hated the fairy garden. But I think this is the only box that I have that would work for this project. Unless I did see some people take their little like book boxes that series comes in and using that. So I could do that. I don't know if I want to, but I could. I don't know. Too many decisions. I am not good at making decisions. For the bookstore library idea, I have double-sided tape that I think would make that really easy to do. I can't use double-sided tape on like twigs and leaves and crap that I put in here, rocks, whatever. So it would all just be loose in there, which makes me nervous because if this, after I fill it up with dirt and mulch and twigs and leaves and rocks, if that falls off my bookshelf, so messy. So messy. It's gonna be messy to make. And nothing's gonna go where I want it to go, because everyone who does use like outside stuff for their book nooks instead of like store-bought stuff, there was one video I saw where they took thick dirt, rock stuff, and they poured glue in it so it's like tacky and it sticks together and it goes where you want it to go. Don't have glue either. Don't have hot glue. Don't have PVA glue. Don't have a glue stick. I literally only have tape. So we have to make do. But I am super excited because I do have some LED lights, which is like the best part of any book nook, is that it lights up and you can see everything inside, and I think that's so cool. So I have one thing going for me. I'm getting anxious. So I'm gonna think on it some more. I'm gonna do the thing that I needed to do today, and then maybe we'll get started on this whole thingy-mabob. Should I flip a coin? I have a little coin that says yes, no. Should I make a fairy garden? No. Nope, it wants me to make the bookstore. I might actually take that into consideration. The fact that the coin told me no. I'll check back in when I have my crap together. This lighting is kind of terrible. It's giving me Hoa Hoa vibes. Wanna come say hi?